Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. My name is Monica and today we're finally doing the finale for my Pan That palette for 2021, the Natasha Denona Lila palette. Rex is also very excited. It came down to the wire. Down to the wire. I am filming this. What day am I filming this? I'm filming this the 29th. I had, for this project, until the end of 2021, which was the 31st, to finish this palette. And as of literally this morning, I finished the palette. If you don't follow me on Instagram, this is my Instagram page. I, over the last few weeks especially, documented my progress with the palette and how I was finally able to get to this point. But before we jump into just like my thoughts and reflections on this palette and on the year, let's go ahead and for the last time, run the slideshow of all of my progress up until this point. And this is my palette now. I didn't clean it up as nicely. Like before I put this kind of into storage with my other palettes, I will go through, pop these all out and like deep clean this. But these are the last two shades that I had in here and I finished them this morning. This, I honestly didn't think we were gonna be here, but like looking at this empty Natasha Denona palette, I'm speechless, really. Ooh, part of me still can't like believe that I'm here. I actually did it because this was a lot of product. This is like 30 grams of product. This is the most product of eyeshadow of any of my Pan That palettes, I think. My 2020 Pan That palette might have been close, but I think this had way more product. And I could tell like throughout the process of the year. So like I said, it was down to the wire for the last few weeks. And if you look at my last update, I had like Franken shadows all the way down here. And I will say I did have a little bit more time than it looked like in my updates because the way that I film my YouTube content, I tend to film a video about a week before it goes live on my channel. So I didn't have all of that product there like mid-December or early December. I had all that product there like mid-November. So that's kind of was my starting point. And for like the last 6 weeks, I was just gung-ho using this every day. I was using the pinks and purples. I like got so far out of my comfort zone, but it was fun. And it was also pretty slightly anxiety inducing because I was like, I don't think I like up until last week, I did not think I was going to finish this. I thought I was going to come up here and say, I have one shade left. I'm going to finish it in January, but it's here and it's done. And it took a lot of work. I was literally doing like purple smoky eyes, kind of like this one, literally every day. I was using the shades as blush, and I actually one time used them as nail polish. I noticed that it didn't look fantastic as nail polish, so I didn't really do that again. but I did it. I can't believe it, we actually did it. I'm so glad that I picked a Natasha palette for this year, and especially like a purple palette. If you haven't seen any of my other Pan That Palette series, this is actually my fourth Pan That palette. My first Pan That palette was a Marc Jacobs eyeshadow palette. The second one was ABH Subculture. I think that's honestly the one I had the most fun with because I loved that color story. I love that to death. The third one was the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Blood Sugar palette, which was kind of similar, but more on the red pinky side. And now this one is the purple palette. And I tend to I definitely like to pick a new brand every year to do this on because I like to explore the formula. And I have to say, the Natasha formula is beautiful. And there is a shit ton of product in there. And I can say, as it took me a full year of actually using this just about every day this year to go through it. So I like to pick a different brand and a different formula every year to kind of expose myself to something new, learn a lot more about the formula, a lot more about myself. And I also like to try to pick different color stories. So my first year, it was a very neutral kind of color story because it was my very first palette. And looking back on those videos now, I'm so glad I documented it because baby Monica didn't know what she was really doing. I was learning as I went, and I'm still learning as I go. But I had that as a neutral palette. I had a much more colorful palette in Subculture. I jumped it up to 11 when I did the Blood Sugar palette. And then this one was another challenge because really, if you give me every color eyeshadow, purple's the last one I would pick. I wasn't really a fan of purple. I never really liked wearing purple eyeshadow. So of course I was like, you know what I want to pan this year? A purple palette. And I did it. I went from someone who has never really worn pinks and purples as eyeshadows. I definitely tend to go more towards green and blue eyeshadows, especially because I have brown eyes. And I heard those colors just really make your eyes pop. But I didn't realize how much I was going to enjoy wearing the purple. I really like these colors. I had fun with them. They got me out of my comfort zone. I also explored a lot more of blush, using them as blush, kind of doing more blush on the tip of the nose, I did a little bit today on the cheekbones, a little bit up on the forehead. It got me out of my comfort zone in just such an amazing way. And I'm so glad that I did this. I think my major takeaways from this are I really pushed myself to use a color palette that I really wasn't comfortable with and didn't really like, and now I really like it. And I feel like even though I'm not going to be panning a purple palette next year, I feel like I'm more likely to reach more for cooler toned pinks and purples than I was a year ago. And then my other takeaway is I still love the Natasha formula. After spending a whole year with it, I love the formula. It frankens nicely, which I don't think I've seen anyone else franken a Natasha shadow before, but I really like doing that. So I'll probably do that again, especially because I have so many. I think is on this side. No, it's on this side. These are my Natasha palettes. I have a ton. And actually Alvin, my fiance, just got me another palette for my birthday, which is very sweet. He actually went through my collection to make sure I didn't already have it. He got me the Trichrome palette. So I have a lot of Natasha shadows left, and I'm appreciating them, and I know I'm still going to get full use and not my money's worth, but I'm still going to get enjoyment out of using those palettes. Oh, sorry, I just sneezed my entire brain out. Whew. So yeah, I think the last major takeaway would be this formula and these palettes cost a lot, but to me, I think they're actually worth it. I know my biggest gripe with Natasha was the price point, but there's so many products from Natasha Denona that I absolutely love, and I love their eyeshadow formula. And I have to say, after spending a whole year panning a full palette, I would say this is worth the retail price, which for this size would be $129. But that also being said, I think her minis and her midis are the best value you will find within the brand, because you're getting the same formula. Because I've tested every single type of palette now from Natasha, from the minis all the way up to the big green brown palette. The formula is consistent, and unfortunately you don't see that a lot with brands, especially nowadays. They tend to cheap out on the holiday palettes, or they'll cheap out on their mini products, so you really can't get a handle on what the actual formula is. But Natasha doesn't do that. So my recommendation is, if you're interested in any Natasha palette, I would say pick up a mini in a color story you're interested in, or get one of the midis. So that is it for this journey. Thank you to everyone who followed along, gave me helpful advice, gave me encouragement. This is, I think, my favorite part of my channel is doing this challenge every year. This is my 4th year and I cannot wait to do it again next year. So if you're new, I like to post my Pan That Palette intros on the 1st. So the day after this goes up, you'll see my introduction for my next Pan That Palette, which I'm about to film right now. And I think it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be another fun learning year, and I cannot wait to just go ahead like and jump in. Like I thought I would be, I don't know, maybe a little burnt out about it, but like I'm so excited to like start my next project already. And that's what I love about this. It's fun, and I'm just glad I get to share it with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below if you panned a palette, how it went, or if you're looking towards panning something next year. And I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye.